The Global Sim Racing Channel kicks off its 2018 broadcast schedule from England's historic Silverstone circuit, the host venue for this afternoon's Apex Online Racing's Formula Renault 2.0 Season 8 Championship. As always, a two-race affair is on tap, a 40-minute feature followed by a 25-minute sprint. Practice is underway. The drivers are getting ready. GSRC is ready. We hope you are ready. From Old Blighty, hello and welcome to GSRC's Countdown to Green. Way up in the press box to bring you our Words Eye view is yours truly, Bill Soups On. For a little change of pace, the renowned Jake Sperry joins me in the booth this afternoon. No change in the director's chair as the hardest working man in sim racing broadcasting, Joe Peak, fills that seat, armed with cameras provided by Dougie Beard. It is round 4 of 12 on the AOR Season 8 calendar, and as cyberspace flows into your place over the next 15 streamy award-worthy minutes, GSRC will bring you all the storylines, all the stats and facts you'll need to fully appreciate the doubleheader Formula Renault 2.0 Championship event that will immediately follow. Now, the last time the AOR was at Silverstone was way back in its 5th season. Bookending that day's result graphic is Rene Oosterkamp, who won the feature, and his current SimRC teammate Patrick Kessler. Jean-Francois Godin won the sprint to score well. Christian Koch and Isio Tellis are not racing this season. Now, keep in mind, that Season 5 event was on the modern international circuit. Jake, for Season 8's return to Silverstone, the AOR is going old school.
They're going historic, and well, it's nice to be back at the place where I started my career with AOR. Of course, I started with Pro Mazda. It's nice to be back, though, with the Formula Renaults, located in England next to the Northamptonshire villages of Silverstone and Whittlebury. Silverstone is built on the site of a World War II Royal Air Force bomber station and is the current home of the British Grand Prix, which it first hosted in 1948. But of course, the track underwent a major redesign in 1990, but today it is a historic version we're racing. No chicanes here today at Abbey. No chicanery work will be needed to deal with it. It's all about pace. It's all about getting through. It's 5 kilometers or 3.1 miles for those of you who do it, 16 turns, but of course, the best way to get an idea of what this place is like is to jump on board and take a lap around on the GSRC Formula Renault 2.0.
All right, we've got Amjad Yama to the GSRC Formula Renault 2.0, so let's do a lap around Silverstone. Coming down to cops who have a lot of runoff on the outside, so you can get away with coming in too hot. But be wary, because the AstroTurf and curbs can bounce the car around, and you'll potentially damage the undertray. From there, you'll let the car drift to the right. Just make sure to keep your head up in case anyone is exiting the pits. Now comes the Maggots-Beckett sequence. Each corner gets progressively slower, and just like most S's, your line is critical. Try to set up for each successive corner so that ideally you can get to the power out of Beckett's and be flat out through Chapel. The biggest reason this is so important is we're now coming onto the Hangar Straight. You don't want to be vulnerable with a slow exit onto this section, since the draft is already going to be a big help. Hold to the left for the best line into Stowe. It's going to be tricky in the low-slung Renault with its blind apex. Hopefully, you kept from understeering off. And now, the historic layout takes us into a much faster rendition of Vale and Club. The rapid entry means settling the car can be a challenge, and you won't get much of a passing opportunity. But that's made up for by the fact that you'll get a good chance to try and overtake coming out of the corner. Abbey becomes its old flat-out kink, and with a much longer time on the gas, Bridge requires a lot more braking. That's not to say this is going to be a slow corner, but don't be surprised to see drivers have a go into here. Drivers' lines coming into Priory might vary, and that can sometimes cause wrecks, so keep your head on a swivel. From there, it's a short burst of Brooklands, and the turns get tighter and slower in this technical section of the track. Switch back quick and try to square off Luffield. This is a patience-trying corner, but you gotta be careful about costing yourself time on the exit. Once you get on the power, you won't be lifting through Woodcote all the way until the first turn. But as we cross the line, we've now finished a lap around Silverstone.
If you're a man with prostate problems, this is your track because it's got great flow. Joe Peak on the mic taking us around the historic version of Silverstone. Now, let's review what happened last time out at Donington. It was a first in the feature and a third in the sprint for SimRC's Renault Oosterkamp. A spot behind Oosterkamp in both races was Players' Jean-Francois Godin. In a weird coincidence, like Godin behind Oosterkamp, SimRC's Patrick Kessler was a spot behind Godin in each race. Defending champ Adam Tierney went 5th and 2nd for Radicals Online. The only driver to finish outside the top 5 in either race was Harrison Finch. The positive SimRacing Green driver posted a 4th and a respectable 6th. A 12th in the feature kept sprint race winner Richard Arnault off the graphic. So, with 3 races in the books, the GSRC stat boys Simon and Poindexter went to work. They've crunched the numbers to give us the point standings with the 2 drop races accounted for. Basically, what you're seeing is the driver's best result plus any bonus points they may have earned throughout the season. And it is the SimRC teammates, the best German-speaking duet since Milli Vanilli, Renault Oosterkamp, and Patrick Kessler tied for the lead. Despite winning 2 feature races, Racecraft's Martin van Loosenord sprint race woes has him a point behind. Jean-Francois Godin for Players is still looking for his first win. Privateer Mark Usher continues to be hot and cold. Let's look at the Tier 2 standings. It's Berlin's SimSports Johan Fast and Lucky Vastamaki, who is tied with Scott Newton for Apex Racing UK. But take a second to note what the stat boys call pocket points. They are the driver's largest drop results. Vastamaki has 52 points in his pocket compared to Newton, who only has 17. A poor performance for Fast and Lucky will not hurt him that much. Red Devils Daniel Morris, the Orange Viking, Knut Martinsen, and Force Fissy Sarah Dove for Formula Mini round out the graphic. Finally, to the team championship. Remember, Oosterkamp and Kessler tied for the Drivers' Championship. No surprise to see them crushing the team championship. As the season advances and drop races become less of a factor, look for the preseason favorite Radicals Online, powered by Adam Tierney and Josh Thompson, to move up to the top. How about positive SimRacing Green? That's Harrison Finch and Lubomir Morris, the surprise of the season so far. No surprise to see longtime team Red Devil Racing in 4th, powered by former champ Christian DeCatch and Tier 2 leader Daniel Morris. Tom Van Hoyman and Martin van Loosenord have Racecraft filling out that final spot on the left side. Okay. The AOR GSRC partnership is always attracting new viewers. So with that in mind, here's my partner Jake to tell you about the series and event details.
Yeah, very easy, very simple. The 8th season in Formula Renault terms. Don't forget also, we had 4 or 5 seasons in the Pro Mazda. That's how long this series has been attractive for such a long time. Round 4 of 12, 2 drops, as stated earlier on in the season. You can use those drops anytime you like, but they are for the worst points that you score, or if you decide to miss an event. And of course, with every race, there is 2 races per event. Of course, we have the 40-minute feature and a 25-minute sprint, which will make a very, very interesting affair indeed. Open setup. The setup can be changed, and a lot can change on a Formula Renault with predetermined weather in terms of what time of day that we will certainly be heading up over. And a lot of that time, you'll be hoping to see everything that happens. Now, on to the feature race details. Of course, we did say 40 minutes for this opening race with a sequential grid dealing with qualifying, which will be happening very soon. 1 pit stop and a 15-point incident cap will mean that clean driving is of the accord today. No fast repairs. And, of course, championship points, very standard here soon.
And qualifying is just getting underway right now. And qualifying maybe not as important as some of the other tracks here as passing. Jake, correct me if you think I'm wrong, but passing should be a little easier here at this track.
Well, it can be and it can't be, because you look at the sort of circuit that it is. Normally your opportunities happen down the end of the hangar straight into that Stowe corner, but of course once you get that opportunity coming out of Stowe, because we're running this historic track layout, you don't have the opportunity to make the move into the Vale, and you don't have the opportunity to make that move into Abbey. So passing, I think, is going to be a little more of a premium here today, but it all depends on just how crazy this opening race is going to be. Nothing is for sure, and I've seen a couple of people say that in this cold weather that we've had this morning, that is going to be difficult, but track conditions incredibly hot today, 40 degrees, and quite a heavy southern wind. That's going to be hurting drivers a lot at 13 kilometers an hour. I'd expect to see maybe a little bit of difficulty through some of the corners with unsettling the vehicle.
The good news for these drivers is they have their main practice on Thursday, and that is the weather that determines the race, what the weather will be on race day. So they have a little bit of time to get familiar with it. Jake, so many of these races we've seen determined by these little fragile Renaults getting damaged going over the curbs and their pit stops having to be a little bit longer. How friendly do you think Silverstone will be to these French cars?
Well, I think it's going to be a little bit easier than what you'd normally see here as drivers like Robin Bondon start their first lap, Manuel Hoyer, another one, and Eric Andre, another one as well. I think what we're going to be seeing here from the curbs is that they are very inviting for what they do. I think that you can very easily have an attack, maybe down at corners like the Maggots and Beckett section, that you are going to be maybe a little bit more lean with the curbs in the way that you try and attack over them, but generally throughout the lap you are looking to try and push as much as you can without getting an off track.
You know, let's talk incident caps, because that comes into a play a lot. The first race we had, there were no DQs, and then we went to Laguna Seca, and my goodness, they lost about 9 or 10 drivers. You know, we talk about incident caps, sometimes we laugh at it, like if you have one at Bathurst, you really don't use them up, because if you're off track, you're in the wall. What about here? Can you kind of steal a few? Can you steal a tenth every so often and burn an incident point?
It's difficult, especially, let's say, the outside of Club Corner. You can run all the way to the outside as far as you want, very similar to the 90 at Watkins Glen, but you have to get yourself back on circuit before the grass comes up or an off-track incident point does occur. I think that drivers will be very conservative, especially on a long lap where you have to make a lot of changes of direction at this circuit in particular. So I think drivers will be very cautious. I think that in this first race that moves will be certainly at a minimum, and I think that drivers will see sense, I think, today as Harrison Finch goes fastest.
Qualifying times just some to come in now. Alexis Moriloso up on the top of the chart, but the qualifying times come in. Only 5 guys have put in time so far.
And there's
Let me correct myself. Yes, Osterkamp now, yeah.
Oh, and that's half a second clear than anybody else. So one of those drivers at SimRC who really does make a difference to the end, has been raising his profile over the past 6 months. Renault Osterkamp certainly scoring well, 135.6, and nobody even touching him at this stage right now here, Soup.
Another driver that we have to keep an eye on. He won the sprint race last time out. That is Richard Arnault, as he sits third in qualifying right now, putting in a 136.2. Boy, but like you said, he's only a tenth behind Harrison Finch, but by gosh, he is a whole half second behind Rene Osterkamp.
And Richard Arnault, the team boss of Real Championship, he'll be really looking for a good performance here. He's got high hopes for his team overall. We've seen how good he's done in the likes of VLN. He wanted a Blancpain push. That may just happen for him. He also wants a Formula 1 push as well. He wants to be in the iRacing World Championship Grand Prix Series. The team not in a position to do that this year, but coming into a series like this, maybe AOR, getting that feel in a Formula Renault, arguably this is the best vehicle in the world, Soup, to really train up your skills to be able to handle that McLaren MP430.
Let's look at a couple rookies as they sit right above each other in 8th and 9th. We'll start with Luke Barden. He's somebody to keep an eye on. Right now he is 8th fastest, but right behind him, as he drops down to 9th, as I think Carl Janssen gets a spot ahead of him. But right behind him is Robin Banks-Bondon. He's somebody to watch for, currently in now 11th position. Those are our top 2 rookie drivers. Well, let me correct myself, as I mentioned Carl Janssen. I forget that he is a rookie as far as this season goes. He's now sitting in 10th.
Well, he was. Luke Barton has just completely jumped him up to 9th, 136.4. Great time from him then, as we keep seeing times go up. Charlie Summers getting up to 3rd on a 36.1. He'll be happy with that from his opening lap as well. You also have the likes of Patrick Kessler looking to improve, only down in 12th. That's going to be an issue for him. But one of the difficulties Patrick Kessler is going to have is actually his age. He is older. He's in his 50s. Maybe the reflex is not as good from season to season. It is a bigger challenge for Kessler to get around these circuits, but don't take that away from him. He's still got amazing pace.
I was surprised at 50 they let him race at all. Let's talk about a guy that is fast but has internet trouble a lot. That is currently in third. It's Charlie Summers in the 350 machine. Always fast, had some internet connection problems last time, and doesn't like to race here. He's still blinking a little bit. That poor Charlie's got to get that settled down.
Yeah, he does. It's going to be difficult for that to happen. So I just had a look at the one of Adam Tierney get a big wiggle through Priory, one of those really fearsome corners that you see. You always try and get through. As now he looks to make his way through. Yeah, Charlie Summers has to really be careful about what he does with that internet connection. He's got to be careful. Tierney dives down onto the lane, though. He will not go any quicker than a 35.92.
You look at Tierney, his teammate, of course, for Radicals Online is Josh Thompson. Thompson also in the pit. He has qualified fourth. Those guys are going to try to make a run at SimRC. That's Osterkamp and, of course, the aged Kessler teamed up there.
Well, look at that from Luke Barton, the rookie, up into third position, 1:36 flat, and that is a lap time which he'll be very happy from. Christophe Holstein up into fourth position, as well as Jean-Francois Godin, the French-Canadian, puts in a very good second lap. He goes to second, 2/10 off of what is part of his once stablemate teammate, René Osterkamp.
Looking through to see how Barton has done so far this season. If I can find him right here. He's got his best finish was a 5th. That was in the sprint race in round number 2 from Laguna Seca. Has a couple DNFs, 1 DNF, so this certainly is his best performance so far. Oh, looks like the qualifying. Are we done here? Should we go to the grid? Nope, we still got a little bit of time left.
Yeah, we got 2 and a bit minutes. Jean-Francois Godin still on a final lap, as is Summers, as is Kessler. So that's going to be interesting to see what happens. Harrison Finch on a lap, though, in the 41, positive sim racing. I have a lot of respect for Harrison Finch. I definitely expect him to be one of those stars of the future that you look up to, maybe in the next 5 years or so. Finch rounding the final corner, looking for that drive through Woodcote, runs wide, dives down onto the lane. He will not go any quicker.
You were talking about the French-Canadian driver, Francois Godin. He was maybe the fastest driver last time out at Donington until he made a mistake, let René Osterkamp get around him. Osterkamp got the win. Godin had to settle for second. Those guys look to be fast again right now. Osterkamp up on top. That big half-second lead in qualifying now down to just about a second and a 10th and a half over Godin.
But it's about how he gets himself over the line, because his final lap time does not improve. So I think for Jean-Francois Godin, there's not going to be much more that has to be said. Someone who may be marginal coming to the line, though, is one of the first ladies of sim racing. You could say 177, Sarah Dove, currently 28th. It's going to be a long charge if she's going to get there within the 1 minute left.
Sarah Dove sitting 5th overall in the... not in the points, but in her class, in the Tier 2 class. Good to see her on there. She's beginning to score some points. She's teamed up this year for Formula Mini. She also does double duty. She comes over, races a little bit now in the MX-5 World Tour. Good to see you over there in the Fender car.
It always is. And, well, you're certainly seeing exactly what is going to be happening here with Sarah Dove into bridge, this right-hander, which is a light lift here in these Formula Renaults, back onto the brakes, opening up that corner a lot through Priory, and 15 seconds left. So this is going to be a last-minute dash to the line as she heads through Brooklands, now looking for Luffield here, which is this long, sweeping right-hander, 5-4. I don't think she's going to make it.
That corner goes on forever. When do you get on the gas there? It's my problem. Let's go to the grid right now, as I believe Doves is the last one to put in a lap. On the front row, it is going to be René Osterkamp, flanked by his rival, Jean-Francois Godin. Adam Tierney, the defending champion, inside of Mark Usher for row 2. Row 3 is the rookie, Luke Barton and Patrick Kessler. Christophe Holstein and Charlie Summers, who's been blinking. Let's hope he can keep connected in 7th and 8th. Josh Thompson and Harrison Finch round out row 5. Jake?
And of course, the real championship team boss, Richard Arnault, from 11th. Manuel Hoyer, alongside a driver I do like, in 12th. Christian Takash, down the order, former champion, 13th, with Yannick Onjena in 14th, and Eric Andre for real championship in 15th, with Fast and Lucky Jonas Fastermarki in 16th. Carly Janssen will start 17th against the second place finisher in the F1 Esports World Championship, Fabrizio Donoso. Robin Bondon will start from 19th, and rounding out 20 is Stefan Herman.
And then it is Lubomir Morris in the blackjack position, Evan Emre in the double duck spot. Daniel Morris and Jeroen de Quartel make 23rd and 24th. Andy Greenhall, the Orange Viking, Knut Martinsen in 26th. Stefan Larkamp on Sarah Dove, 27th and 28th. 29th and 30th, Rudolf Nagel and Ziv Sadeh. Jake?
Casper Thrain will start 31st with Connor Ryan alongside Silvio Hurt, Alex Meriloso, Alexander Voldo, and one driver failing to make it in time, and that is the 3:16 Stone Cold last for Ty McLeod.
I don't think Ty's going to race with us today. 36 names in the entry list. I think 35 are going to grid up. 35 put in qualifying times. Although McLeod was out there practicing. And let me correct myself. Ty is actually out there. So I think we're going to get 36 drivers on the grid. 35 of them are going to be behind René Oosterkamp, who put in the fastest qualifying time, a 1:35.6, about a tenth and a half ahead of Jean-Francois Godin. Remember, they were the two fastest drivers last round out. That was round 3 at Donington. Today it is round 4, still in England, but this time over in Silverstone. The engines begin to harmonize. Gather up the chicken steak, cover behind the cows, because the horses are out of the barn, and it is René Oosterkamp out in front, but look at the challenge for second. Ducking in on the inside. Is he going to make it stick? That is Adam Tierney side by side with Godin. The blue car has the momentum as they work into the 2-3-4, the Maggots-Beckett combination, and it's going to be Degas who gets it. Tierney in third, Usher and Barton round out your top 5, Jake.
Yeah, it looks fantastic, and there's a massive pack there for the second half of this field as well, all trying to sort themselves up as they make the run to the Hangar Straight, and still we have side-by-side Christoph Holstein. Wycombs wants to look on Luke Barton here, the rookie, this one for position number 5 as they make the run on the brakes into Stowe Corner for the first time. Not going to happen. Usher under pressure now, Tierney under pressure from Usher, I should say. Mark Usher looking to make the podium.
The front 10 are all stretched out. Boy, they are really packed up, though, in the back. There's a great battle back in 15th and 16th spot. Christian Takash trying to make a move. No, that's Eric Andre trying to make a move around the outside as they go through club. Great pickup from Andre as he picks up about 4 positions. So far, everybody's still on track.
Everybody's still on track. That's exactly what we like to see in the opening stages. Side by side, Thompson trying to go at it at Kessler, and Josh Thompson down to the inside. Well, you can have 6 sideways sponsorship if you want, but that was as straight as you like, and Kessler almost into the rear as they head through Brooklands.
And we had an off. We'll see if we can get it spinning around. See if we can get it.
Well, that's a couple of vehicles there. Daniel Morris is off the circuit, so we'll try and pick up the pieces on that one, surely. But yeah, there was 2, 3, 4 vehicles all losing it out, heading towards Luffield.
Yeah, and it was Lubomir Morris, too. We can probably come in and we'll get a replay of that one a little bit later when the first lap settled down. Lubomir Morris involved in a second incident. Meanwhile, out in front, though, it's all taking place behind René Oosterkamp, who's racing comfortably ahead of Godin. Tierney being challenged by Mark Usher. Let's look at that right now. A battle for third. Usher in the dark blue car trying to find a way around, Jake.
Well, he's got to do it the long way around of Tierney at his home circuit, and Adam Tierney will try everything he can to defend it. Usher gets himself a vehicle ahead, but look at this. Tierney's trying to force him to go the long way round. Big missed apex, though, from Usher. He'll pick it up on the exit, though, as he makes the run towards the Vale and Club Corner. He will get the run. He'll get the position, and a big check-up. And Barton turns around with Holstein, and they all scatter 6s and 7s.
What a great job. We can get a replay of this from Josh Thompson as he was able to thread the needle between Holstein and Barton. Oh my gosh, what a great run from Josh Thompson.
What a lucky man. No, there's more contact in the back as well, because that's the vehicle spinning a Barton for a second time coming out of club. So he got a bit more contact, tried to go to the inside, didn't see the vehicle of Charlie Summers it was. And well, Summers ending up an innocent bystander there. Barton getting a little bit too greedy in the early stages.
Summers' cars looks to be okay. Now watch this one. Here's our replay as we watch the two cars get together. Keep an eye on the guy who shoots through the middle. Oh no, this is where Barden tries to squeeze through. No room to go 3 wide there.
It was just the case of Barton was trying to move back onto the racing line, didn't see Summers there, Soup, and just completely lost out in that situation. You've got to be so careful at this circuit to make sure that you're leaving that one car's width. As things stands, though, it's a breakaway of 2. Jean-Francois Godin and René Osterkamp will work together, 7/10 of a second between the pair.
Drivers who look like they have retired, it's Lubomir Morris, Yannick Onyega is gone too, and Robin Bardon is done. At least they are taking an early pit stop. So while the first lap was relatively clean, things really heated up on lap number 2 as we ride on board with your defending champion Adam Tierney in 4th place, looking ahead of Mark Usher.
Well, he can keep trying to have this look, he can keep looking, but behind that, oh no, under pressure from the driver of Carly Janssen, and Janssen trying everything to make the move, not happening. But yes, you do talk about that. Mark Usher, the reigning champion Adam Tierney, looking to try and make things happen in the number 1 machine. And sometimes it doesn't have to be a win. Sometimes you pick and choose your losses as and when they happen. And Adam Tierney, probably one of the best at making that happen. Still, though, Janssen has a look at Arnaud down to the inside at Priory. Didn't have enough carry-through speed, but Arnaud runs wide on the exit. Down to the inside again for Janssen, and he worked hard for his money there.
Janssen up into 8th position now, Arnaud back into 9th. The front 4 are pretty calm. The battle starts back at 5th position. Harrison Finch being battled, being pressured by Kessler. Josh Thompson racing in 7th. We just saw Janssen make his way around Arnaud. Now Arnaud being challenged. Now here comes Manuel Hoyer. This is a battle for 9th.
And well, Manuel Hoyer for Positive Sim Racing, arguably the best move of his career to date. Manuel Hoyer, of course, part of that Blackadder team, which decided to break up into 7 different sort of packs as such. But through the S's he goes now, through Beckett's into Chappell, the right-hander. Get the run out of Chappell. You'll have the run towards the hangar straight. The German against the Frenchman. In front of that, they got to deal with Carly Janssen. Well, Arnaud will now try and make that charge back through. But in front of that, Kessler having a look. The elder statesman trying to get past the young upstart of Harrison Finch. It doesn't happen just yet.
We look at that racing in 10th, a little farther back in that mix. That's Manuel Hoyer. He is our top tier 2 driver right now. He's got a couple spots between him and Jonas Vastamaki, who races in 12th. But that battle continues. Really starts up there in 8th position with Janssen, goes back Arnaud, Hoyer, Summers in that mix, Vastamaki, even Henrik Andre coming in.
And one wrong move from any of these drivers will put a cat amongst the pigeons as such, as they head their way again into this infield section for the 4th time in this 40 minutes race. On the brakes again into the left-hander they come along of Brooklands corner. Luffield coming up next as well. And well, now Charlie Summers trying to think about going on the aggressive. He looks down to the inside, a little bit of blinking there, but he does all right. Hoyer gets a good run off of the exit, should be able to save it towards Copse corner. Right now, things are all plain sailing right now here, these drivers.
Yeah, I think Summers maybe found some eye drops there as his blinking has certainly calmed down a little bit from what we saw early on in practice that had us all worried. Let's go back quickly to 14th position. This is a nice little battle back here. Fabrizio Donoso being challenged by Stefan Herman. And Jake, you know a little bit about Fabrizio.
Yeah, I certainly do. A very quick driver on his day when he gets down to it. F1 Esports World Championship, 2nd place overall, the Chilean. Arguably one of the best drivers in the world right now, but maybe he needs time to adapt to iRacing, get himself further forward. Hoyer comes back down the inside of Summers just ahead and makes that position, makes that one look very comfortable. But I have a lot of respect for Fabrizio Donoso, for a driver who arguably is a baby-faced assassin when you see him in real life. He is one of those really, really quick drivers. I have a lot of time for him.
Well, we continue to look at that battle, and not only blinking now, but Summers is also really loose in this battle for 10th position. It's Manuel Hoyer out in front. Summers trying to find his way around. Vastamaki looking to come up in there is Henrik Andre, the French driver, working on the outside as they go through into priority now.
Oh, and I think he's got it. They managed to keep themselves together. No contact between them. And Henrik Andre doing well. Massive accident, though, further back behind. It's involved Christian Takash, the former champion, and it's also involved Stefan Herman.
Greenhall involved in there as well.
Well, that was all done at Priory, and that was Herman trying to be a little opportunistic on the brakes, bit of contact rear to front, and then Herman just gets collected by the driver behind him of Greenhall, and that's going to be a big talking point later on.
Actually, I think it might have started with Fabrizio Donoso, who got loose in front of him. Kind of was an accordion effect that got those guys checked up. Donoso is fine. He's still racing in 14th position.
I wouldn't blame that on Donoso there, Soup. You have to say, Donoso was an innocent bystander. He was perfect on his marks into the corner. That was more Herman just being a little bit too greedy into the corner.
All this going on behind our leader, René Oosterkamp, who is not being pressured at all. A nice, comfortable drive, about 0.3 of a second out in front of Jean-Francois Godin. Mark Twain, go ahead.
That's never comfortable being 0.3 of a second in front, Soup. I'll tell you that from experience. You look at 0.3 of a second, you got a former champion in Jean-Francois Godin behind you. You know you are in for a scrap.
Get my Mark Twain quote out here. He said that history doesn't repeat itself, but it often rhymes. And this looks, well, it doesn't look, it sounds really familiar to what we saw last time out with Oosterkamp and Godin racing away, the class of the field. It is 4 seconds back from Godin before we get to Usher now, who has worked his way up into third, Tierney in fourth.
Well, Usher wouldn't be behind if it wasn't for the fact that he had to battle so hard with Adam Tierney, deal with all the issues that they had together. So they've got to be careful now, and they've got to work together. There's still a pit stop cycle, of course. That brings things back into question. Good battle, though, further back down. Rudolf Nagel, Ty McLeod, and Andrew Greenhall. Ty McLeod, a driver looking to try and make some moves back through the field, started dead last, already up in astonishing 13 positions as he looks to find a way past Nagel.
He is our hard charger, Nagel, racing in 22nd. Look at the run that McLeod has. He's going to force the issue down into one. Nope. We'll wait. Watching the whole thing happen is Andrew Greenhall. Remember, Andrew had that spin. He's back out on the track now. Car looks good.
Well, the car looks good. That will be very helpful as McLeod having a little look down to the inside at Beckett's. You don't often make the move there, but he thought about it because the door was left half ajar by Rudolf Nagel there. The rookie against the Tier 1 driver. Ty McLeod has a lot of experience under his belt. He's been here probably longer than most drivers in this league have been, and he's looking now to make a move on the brakes down the inside. He thinks better of it. He has another look later on, surely.
The guy has to worry is a spot up Stefan Herman because the train is a-coming, Stefan, as Nagel beginning to run him down. If McLeod actually could get around Nagel, I think the train would go a little faster.
But the train,
go ahead.
The train starting to depart, though. Herman was 0.4 of a second quicker than Nagel on that last lap. Here comes McLeod. He'll move to the outside. He'll have the outside tracks. They make the run to bridge. Then he gets a very good run. Then on the brakes he will go. A light little lift, but he takes the position. That is very accomplished driving. And look at that behind, straight down to the inside. Greenhall was taking no prisoners.
Nagel drops from 22nd to 24th and is now under pressure by the Pennsylvania driver Stefan Larkamp for that 24th spot.
And well, there is the Gap SRT driver trying to make everything bring back into play, and Gap SRT trying to make their own charges when it comes to the world of sim racing, trying to make things happen. Look at Hoyer, though, to the outside of Summers as they head into Maggots, and Beckett's going to have to back out of it. That one not going to work the way that he would have hoped for, the way that he would have wanted it to do. But this 4-car train, Vastamaki on the back of it, he now has his Tier 2 battle just in front of him. One position only needed now for Fast and Lucky.
Our director was on a great battle. Let's go back to it. The battle for 5th. This is Harrison Finch being pressured by Patrick Kessler. Kessler last season was a Tier 2 driver, got promoted up to race with the big boys right now and is doing a great job. Remember, he sits tied for the points lead when you take drop places into account, and having another good result in 6th right now. Harrison Finch racing in 5th as they go down through bridge.
And it seems that we may have had something happen to McLeod because he's now with Carly Jansen, who looks like he's dropped a multitude of positions.
Yeah, let's see if we can find it. Jansen got into it with Silvio Hurt. This is big because Jansen is fast. Now, this was this a battle after? It must have been a battle after. This was after the incident because this was farther down the order.
No, I think you're absolutely spot on here because I think he got collected and then run himself into issues there. You can see the spin outside there of Chapel, I believe it is, and that's Carly Jansen now really having to pay the price for it. Yeah, it was an early stop too.
Yeah, well, Jansen has had an issue. He got into it with Silvio Hurt, so I think the car was probably damaged.
And Godin leads this event.
We had a pass for the front.
All of that, yes, we did. And that one happening on that last lap. I'm going to see if I can try and get a look at it here, because that looked like it was a very accomplished move from the French-Canadian. Into bridge. It was perfect, Soup. Absolutely inch perfect. Osterkamp lifted out, and Jean-Francois Godin making it look like it was Schumacher versus Herbert.
Yep. We'll see if we can find the pass. Not the worst. We'll watch it right here. I think we have it coming up. Jake described it well. Not the worst thing that could happen to Osterkamp. Yeah, he's fallen back a little bit, but he's going to save a little bit of fuel.
And you can see it here, side by side, just easy pickings there for Jean-Francois Godin, but he knows he's not going to break away from Osterkamp. Osterkamp arguably is the most consistent driver in this league, week in and week out. If he is up there at the front, you know you're in for a challenge. As now, I keep my eye on Josh Thompson here. He's get some words out, Jake. Chasing down Finch and Kessler. Josh Thompson, a driver who really does put in a lot of time on the sim. Almost every league on every night he is racing. He's now in the picture looking for P5 and 6.
Kessler is on the move, as is Mark Usher in third. Once he was able to get around Tierney, Usher has closed the gap about a half a second on the two leaders up front. A lot of that, though, may have had to do with the battling that Godin and Osterkamp were putting on.
And Mark Usher, definitely no slouch, one of the quickest drivers in a Formula Renault, and I can say that from first-hand experience. He'll look to try and chase down that gap. Traffic now starting to maybe become a factor here at 15 minutes. The pit window definitely open, as we've seen already. Alexis Meriloso will be that driver that we'll have to be dealing with right now for Godin and Osterkamp, or Osterkamp, shall I say. But the difference, though, they're going to be reaching him in about 2 to 3 laps, so they've got a bit of time before they reach the big issues. Side by side, though, Vastamaki and Hoyer for the Tier 2.
We're looking there at Manuel Hoyer and Vastamaki as they race 10th and 11th. I can report that Summers and Tkachev both made their stops. The leaders of all the cars who have pitted is Carl Jansen, but I'm not sure if that's a legitimate, if he's really in the hunt right now. He might still be too far back.
Well, it depends on how much that spin has affected him. He'll be looking to push with maybe the red mist descending a little bit. So he's got to be careful about how he drives these next 5 minutes or so, as Hoyer runs very wide through Priory. Maybe gives an open door to Vastamaki as they head into Brooklands corner. Luffield coming up, and well, right now, Vastamaki, he's sitting and he's waiting, and Hoyer's got to be a very careful and precise man. No drivers dive down onto the lane just yet. It is normally expected that you go as long as you can on the tank before you dive in.
What may be going through Jansen's mind right now is the battle. Maybe if he can get himself back up to 20, get in that, what we call the Dos Equis position, the 2X position, the 20th position, and get regrid back up to the full. Let's see who's in 20th right now. It is Ziv Sade, comfortably there. He's got a little bit of battle. We drop back. Stefan Larkamp is in a battle with Connor Ryan. But honestly, I don't think these guys are really here. These guys have still yet to make their stops. I think that the guys who have stopped, like Jansen, Tkachev, and Summers, are going to jump these guys.
And Connor Ryan getting all over the grass and AstroTurf on the exit of Copse Corner. That's cost him a second, and the battle firmly shuts back down again at that situation. But now Manuel Hoyer goes from defense to offense here with an Eric Andre just in front. The Frenchman has a very good career in other places, but we'll certainly see what happens. As it's a different line there from Manuel Hoyer. He looks to open up the exit there, and Eric Andre just gets a much better run through the mid part of the corner, gains 0.2 of a second, and Andre doing enough to cover the move when they get to bridge.
Alexis Meriloso has an off. We don't need to go there. He was well back in the order, but his day is done. The guy that we were talking about, 2 drivers to keep an eye on, let's quickly jump to third real quick. This is Mark Usher. Hasn't been able to make up much time. He knocked off a couple tenths now. He's still 3.5 seconds behind Osterkamp. Let's check in on the guy that Jake was trying to watch out for, Josh Thompson. Is he making up any ground? Seeing if he can get behind on Kessler, well, that is about 1.4.
1.4, but very even, all 36 sixes on that last lap. But it's worth talking about Usher, actually, in position number 3, because the lap before that, he closed in about half a second, Soup. So that half a second means a lot here. That gap between himself and Osterkamp down to 3.4. That's going to be very worrying for Osterkamp as he sees that through. But Finch and Kessler, I think Thompson wants them to fight. Kessler knows better and actually has a little bit of a wiggle on the brakes as he heads into Stowe there. Kessler's very happy to sit and wait and play strategy against young Finch.
The best battle on the track you saw in the very top part of your screen, 9th position. It's between the two Tier 2 drivers, Manuel Hoyer and Jonas Vastamaki. Vastamaki, of course, leads that class right now. They continue to race about a car length between them.
Yeah, 1 car length between them, but that certainly means that Eric Andre has dived down onto the lane and made a pit stop. So now the strategy card can be played. Arnaud and Vastamaki, yes, they can fight against each other, but they've got to remember, and Eric Andre's in that fight as well. They've got to work together to pull themselves away, and that moment that they decide that pitting is the best option, you decide to do it, and then you put in the qualifying lap times.
Our top driver of all that have pitted is Carl Janssen. Let's go to Carl right now as he's in a battle. This is the battle for 22nd position. This is McLeod again. Now Janssen has pitted, McLeod has not.
Oh, you can see on the outside Janssen trying to force the issue. Goes down the inside of 1. Will should have the inside against Alexander Waldo. Where's Waldo on the outside, losing 1 position and 2 as they head themselves on the brakes through into Luffield Corner. So Alexander Waldo, definitely the slower driver of the 2 there. McLeod now looking to go for it, and in comes Alexander Waldo.
Thompson in the pits as well. He's the highest of all the front runners who've decided to come in. We expect him to get in and out safely. His stop was 4.4 seconds, just what you'd want.
Easy pickings for Josh Thompson out and away, and he's got clean air as well. Rudolf Nagel will be the next vehicle to deal with, and that's about 2.5 seconds, Soup. That's easy as well. As I say that, Nagel gets all shades of over the curb outside of Chapel. So Josh Thompson now suddenly looking at it thinking, oh, how do I negotiate this?
Thompson 18th overall. Top 17 cars have yet to pit. He's well ahead of Janssen, who made that stop.
And well, look at this from Patrick Kessler now. He's really trying to force the issue on Harrison Finch. Up and under attempt. Finch runs slightly wide on the exit and will now look to try and just lean in on the brake. Use that extra energy from running wide to really straight line that corner a lot more. Gave himself a good defense compared to Kessler. If I was Kessler, I'd dive in now. He feels he's the quicker driver, but maybe he's just running to the fuel number, whereas Harrison Finch has exactly the same strategy. It might be a case of someone on the pit wall goes, well, if that guy doesn't pit, you're coming in. If he pits, you're staying out.
Remember, these 2 drivers are racing Josh Thompson, who's on the other half of the track. Thompson was closing in on these guys. They have yet to make their stop. Thompson has made his. Thompson has clear track ahead of him. He has not got up to Nagel yet.
No, he hasn't, and that's very crucial. So Rudolf Nagel, in fact, he does. They go side by side down the front stretch. So the lap times here, you can see Thompson being held up, and this is 4th position, and Thompson a 57.4 outlap, not ideal. And look at this, an attempt at an up and under then from Rudolf Nagel. Very bold from the rookie to try and get past a heritage driver like Thompson. And look at this, he tries to stick the nose in as he heads to Max and Beckett. That won't work. It's just Thompson you're racing.
Yeah, Thompson's got to leave him behind now. He's got clear track ahead of him, almost 5 seconds before he gets up to anybody else. By the time he gets there, Emre will certainly have pitted by then. Meanwhile, up in front is still Garda. No, let me correct myself. Osterkamp has got around Garda now. Osterkamp is back.
That's a mistake, because that was coming through the Vale, or coming through Club, and it was just a case that he was losing the back end, had to check the brakes up through that section because the rear end was really trying to come out on him, and Godin gets away with one that could very easily end many drivers' races, but he loses the race lead and has to do that work all over again. Guess who that lets in? Mark Usher.
Only 1.6 seconds back to Usher. There you see all 3 in your screen right there on this low-angle Dougie Beard Shop. 1, 2, 3 as they go by that stationary camera.
Yeah, fantastic then to see these leading 3 all with a shot of winning this, and it may come down to who's the best at hitting their markers on the brakes, because Usher has been very consistent all race long. Osterkamp has had his moves lost, and we've seen Godin make his mistakes, so It's now a case of who does what, who makes what. Into the wall goes Manuel Hoyer out of Cop's corner, and that is a solo incident. He had broken away all over the AstroTurf. Bang! Straight into the wall.
Remember, he was in that battle with Vastamaki. Well, that's not going to happen now. That's going to end Hoyer's day.
It is. Replay up on screen there, and that is a scary, scary incident because you get yourself through Cop's corner. It's one of the quickest corners in motorsport you deal with, and you have a light lift heading through. He gets out onto that AstroTurf, tries to bring it back. Vehicle's already loose, lack of grip, and straight into the wall, and that is a scary shunt for Manuel Hoyer. He is out of the race.
We look at our battle for the lead right now. It was Oosterkamp in front to start the race. Godot got around him after a mistake from Oosterkamp. Godot makes a mistake. Oosterkamp gets it back. Let's look at the battle for fifth. Finch and Kessler. It continues.
It does, and you can see how Harrison Finch has been very solid in the way that he's driven. He hasn't been threatened as such by Kessler behind. Kessler's happy to wait for the gap to open, and I think that's the way that you have to work in this series. You're not going to get an opportunity to throw one down the inside with a half-hearted effort, because the moment that happens, the moment you struggle. Big missed apex though from Kessler, and you can see how half a second is just lost like that. Part of that comes down to the dirty air effect. Part of that was Kessler just not getting his line right in the SimRC machine.
Our Tier 2 champion or leader right now comes in, Jonas Vastamaki, making a stop. It'll be interesting to see how he comes out in relationship to Josh Thompson.
It will, and you can see just in front of him in the pit is Manuel Hoyer. He gets out, he gets away. There goes Thompson, and he absolutely mullered him on that stint. Fantastic work. He's been jumped by Nagel, who's yet to come in, Ryan yet to come in, and Ziv say he is right in the traffic behind that, though. Janssen and McLeod side by side through Cops.
Thompson still the leader of all the cars who have pitted. Vastamaki now second on that list. Vastamaki does come out ahead of Carl Janssen, though.
He does, but Carl Janssen is in his own little scrap of his own. I said side by side through Cops. Ty McLeod has finally cleared it and got away. Carl Janssen in a major scrap looking for positions. Is not quite working the way he wanted to down the hangar straight, but again, the top five still yet to come down in, and we're hitting that late stage, but by looks of 4 second stops, you're only really putting in, what, maybe 5 litres of fuel to get yourself to the end? It's not long at all.
Let's quickly cut to 9th position. This is a great battle here with Fabrizio Donoso being challenged by Luke Barton. Barton gets the pass made as he moves up into 9th, dropping Donoso back into 10th.
Oh, and Fabrizio Donoso will not be happy about that. Little slide through the middle of the corner from Barton. He picks it up quite nicely as they head into Luffield. Donoso tries the outside line, look to set up the run on the exit here, get that good chance. That's not going to happen though. Barton pits, so Luke Barton in a scrap with Donoso, and Donoso will want that position overall.
Quickly, before they go to pit stops, let's go to a driver we haven't talked much about. Racing in 7th position, Richard Arnaud. Very quiet race. While that's going on, Alexander Waldo has an off. He brings it back onto the track.
No worries, no harm, no foul in that situation. So Alexander Waldo lives to fight another day, but you feel now that the gap's opening up. Oosterkamp stretches it now 1.2 seconds. That's breathing room for a mistake here, Soup. When he gets down onto the box, he'll be very happy to have that 1.2 seconds. He will use that 1.2 seconds any which way he likes.
These stops are so quick that you're not going to have the stop in the box of anywhere between 4 and 5 seconds usually. Usually not that big of a gap here if you do everything right, unless your car has some damage. Talk about Godot, now a 2.2 ahead of Usher. Usher doing his very best to get there.
And that's 0.3 of a second lopped off then on this lap from Mark Usher. So Usher's done a very good job reading that in. The moment he gets within that 1 second, he starts feeling the effects of slipstream coming into play. He'll use Jean-Francois Godin to punch a hole through the air, and that's exactly what he wants to do. He wants to get all of the work done in the late stage of this one. Remember, there's just 10 minutes left in the next 10, 12 seconds or so. He's got to be careful here, and he's got to go through. Donoso has spun, though, coming out of the corner of Brooklands.
Doing his... We get this on replay. He spins right in front of the orange Viking, Knut Martinsen. Knut had to find his way to pick a spot.
He did, and Donoso almost saved that. It's a very weird incident there because he picks up the vehicle, tries to save it, and then it just snaps straight back the other way. And that is arguably the hardest thing to deal with as a driver, is when the vehicle snaps on you and you felt you did everything right to save it.
With Martinson getting around, he moves up into 9th position now. Your top dozen drivers still yet to pit.
And while the top dozen should be due in soon, the tanks will be a little bit thirsty, I would feel, in the next few moments. Osterkamp leads, Usher in 3rd, Godin 2nd, Tierney. Quiet race from him in 4th position, but still 5 seconds back. Could do anything right now to change the complexity of this event. So all the eyes start to look at who can make positions, who can start applying that pressure onto these drivers. Does the race leader, though, dive down onto the lane? The answer is he's looking. He will. 1 in, 2 in, and 3 in follows.
There's nobody these guys are racing on the track. Nobody that they were racing with made a stop. They are racing each other. They can keep an eye on each other. Osterkamp will have the lead spot farthest ahead.
Yeah, it's a pit party at this stage. We've got ourselves everybody coming in. The front 6 have all decided to come in. Arnaud's also in as well. So Holstein, Wycombs comes in. Martinson stays out. De Quartel in. Herman in. Thompson, though, will be the marker post that everyone will look at. Out and away, though, on the stops. And Osterkamp's been good. It's a slightly slower stop, though, for Usher. He brings Tierney back into play with that stop then. And that's going to be crucial here for the rest of this race.
Usher drops about a half second from what he had coming in. They come out in the same order. Tierney, Finch, Knut Martinson, the last car to pit. He's running that car dry in 6th position.
He may be running that car dry, but we know that Martinson, a very, very experienced driver, arguably the most experienced driver when it comes to this league. He will be looking to maybe try and go one more. Of course, an old teammate of his, Soup, Leanne Robinson. He's a fuel whisperer. Maybe he's learned a few tricks.
As far as we talked about Thompson, he's going to come out. I think by the time Martinson comes and makes that stop, Thompson's going to cycle up into 8th position. Don't think he did himself any favors coming in early, as I think Kessler was able to get away from him. Finch, that's who he was trying to run down. Well, they've gapped themselves now. Finch up in 5th.
Well, I think the issue came down to the fact that he had to deal with Nagel as traffic there, and that was not ideal. It's always a risk coming in early, especially when you have the late options coming when there is no traffic. But he was trying to force an agenda, and I liked the desire and the decision to make that move. Just didn't work out today.
Talking about Rudolf Nagel, he's currently in 20th, sitting in our Dos Equis position. That even may move up 1. We'll see where Martinson, if Martinson can get in and out before Nagel comes around. Nagel's got about a 2-second lead to Ryan Connor. Why does this matter if you're new to the series? Because that is the invert position there that'll put you on the pole for the sprint race. 20th is really important.
It certainly is, and Nagel wants those 2 seconds and wants to be scrapping it out for those 2 seconds to have that advantage to keep himself going in this one. Down on the lane, though, Martinson in the box, out and away he goes. Going through is Carly Jansen, going through is Charlie Summers, going through may just be Luke Barton. It's going to be close on the exit, but look at the overspeed that Barton's going to have through Copse. Martinson's going to have work to do. He slots himself in front of De Quartel.
In 14th position, De Quartel in a battle for 15th right now with Stefan Herman. That's a nice battle we'll keep an eye on. So what did that work for our Dos Equis position? Well, right now I'm showing Connor Ryan in that spot.
Well, Connor Ryan right now, he's got to make sure that he gets himself through 21st right now, needing 20th. Nagel in that scrap behind that. Ty McLeod making really, really late moves. He wants to get past Larkamp. And you think about what McLeod's done, take no credit away from him. He's plus 13, looking for plus 14 on the Gap SRT driver. And right now, 316 wants to lay a stone cold stunner on Larkamp.
Looking at that battle with McLeod back there, trying to get around Larkamp. Remember, this is important. If somebody makes a mistake ahead of them, these guys can vulture their way into that 20th position spot. Let's go ahead and take a second, though, to run through the field. We'll do them 5 at a time. Stay with us, Director. Here we go. I'll take the first 5. Jake Rene Osterkamp is your leader. He's up by 1.2 seconds over the French-Canadian Jean-Francois Godin. Mark Usher doing his very best to catch those guys. 2.3 seconds back. Doesn't look like he's going to get there. Adam Tierney, your defending champion, in 4th. Harrison Finch started in 10th, up 5 spots into 5th. Jake?
Patrick Kessler, the elder statesman, the Swiss Superman, in 6th position. Richard Arnaud, the RC captain, the RC boss, in 7th, with Josh Thompson 8th, Christoph Holstein, Wycombs in 9th, and Vastamaki, leader of Tier 2, is now in 11th position because Carly Jansen's through.
Yeah, we'll maybe come back, get an eye on this one. Jansen and Vastamaki. I think Vastamaki's going to leave him behind. Or, I'm sorry, Jansen's going to leave him behind. Vastamaki in 11th. Charlie Summers is up to 12th. The rookie, Luke Barton, he was racing up farther. He's now relegated himself down to 13th spot. The Orange Viking, Kmart, Knut Martinson in 14th. Then a little battle for 15th. That's Descortel being challenged, Jake, by Stefan Herman.
Herman having a very good run of things. Behind that, Evan Imre, the Scotsman, the Mario Kart champion of all things, in 17th. 18th for Eric Andre, chasing him down. Rudolf Nagel now in 19th, with Connor Ryan rounding out 20, but keep an eye on who's behind that.
The little battle about 2.5 seconds back. It's Ty McLeod. He's a-coming. Remember, he started in 36, so don't be fooled by his position right now. He's faster than his position on track would indicate. He's got to hustle, though, with just under 6 minutes of racing to go. McLeod can't make a mistake.
Well, Larkamp did make a mistake, and you can see how far he's dropped back because of it, because you can see behind him, got the likes of Dove in the battle with Morris, so Casper Thrain waiting in 25th. You know, you're starting to get to these positions here where drivers aren't where they really should be, but out the front again, the gap's extending now from Osterkamp. He's found something in the last 5 minutes. He's got himself now a gap of 1.6.
As we look there at the Dove battle going on for 23rd. Let's quickly, Director, let's go to 15th position. This is the one we've been looking at. Herman and Descortel. Probably the best battle of all the leaders right now. It's Herman up in front as they work their way through Cops. Now down through the Maggots Beckett combo. Watch Descortel.
But De Courtel wants to get back because he lost that position on the last lap. De Courtel thinking about it, but there's no real opportunities through Maggots and Beckett's and into Chapel to make that move. You wait for the hanger, bit of a little wiggle there from Herman. And while Herman in the 179, under pressure, there goes De Courtel to the outside, looking for that position. A bit of a weave there from Herman, and Stefan has to be careful in the 179. And I'd like to say Herman, the German, might try and hold that position. And look at that, he'll have the inside. If he can just hold it, he doesn't.
Herman took that defensive line and then little by little eased himself over to the left to try to get that best entry into the corner. Didn't work. Courtel gets the job. Let's see if he can run away from him now. A good run out of the corner from Herman. Here he comes fighting back.
Yeah, he wants that opportunity, does Herman. You can see he goes straight to the inside as they head to Bridge Corner on the brakes in through. And you can see De Courtel doesn't want to give this one up. He has the inside when they get to Priory, and Herman does. But look at now how they get in on the battle. Look at that. Hello, says an Eric Andre. And Eric Andre wants a piece of the party.
Boy, Andre is really fighting that car, sawing on it. He got the pass made, now he's falling back again. He might be the fastest out of the two of them, and it's not that far back for Evan Rolling Thunder Imre to get in there as well. Here he comes on the inside. He wants that inside position. Henrik
got to
says,
be careful.
Slow
down.
Oh, he
slow
got
down.
it.
He was too close to it, and you can see how he has to lift off in towards Cop's corner there. That was getting too aggressive. Very stern defending from Herman, and Andre only had himself to blame. He went for a gap that didn't exist.
Was going to make the gap, and iRacing said, nope, you cannot do that. So now he falls back into the clutches of Evan Imre. Yeah. Now this is the type of fighting that what we need back there from Ty McLeod. Remember, he's in that 21st position.
He is, and you can see just how much composure he will need to make that, because he only gained a 10th on that last lap, and this is the big issue that's coming into play. He only has 3 laps to go. Connor Ryan is earning his stripes right now because McLeod has nothing to argue against here.
Looking now, here's Dove in this battle for 23rd, 24th back there. I think Larkamp is going to get that pass made.
You can think, but you can see now just how this happens. Larkamp through on Sarah Dove, and Dove will now just look to hold position, basically, maybe try and get back at Larkamp here. The pair of them having this good scrap. Good run out of here, take the left-hander, avoiding the Abbey chicane. And here comes Saradov straight back, forces for the inside, maybe had to lift out of it a little bit there. And well, no chance just yet.
Now, with just under 2 minutes to go, we can say that Enric Andre finally got Stefan Herman. Now he works his way up to 16th. Herman back in 17th. Emre is going to be in 18th, not able to get there. Nagel in 19th.
Well, he's hoping, but it's not quite happening here. Imre may be a little bit too far back to make a move at this late stage, but right now, the end of this race has been completely the René Oosterkamp show. He's just broken the heart of Jean-Francois Godin a little bit, pulling away 10th by 10th by 10th until Jean-Francois Godin said no more, and Mark Usher couldn't say anything more. Adam Tierney only 1.4 back. He's hoping that Usher falls off a cliff.
Quickly, let's go to 20th. He's got there. Here comes Ty McLeod. He's now only back by 0.7 of a second. He wants that Dos Equis position. McLeod will keep an eye on this. We should be able to follow this one all the way around once the leaders cross, as these guys are on the lead lap.
Well, that's going to be crucial because Ty McLeod gained almost 2 seconds on that last lap, 1.7 of them. So he will be a man on a mission to make it happen, as the white flag will fly to signal the final lap of the event overall. And Ty McLeod needs the position, and well, he's going to be hoping, and here's hoping. Ryan may be going a little bit defensive too early here. A bit of Indiana Jones and the defender of the lost corner, methinks.
That's a good one. You're not missing anything up front. There is no real battle ahead of these guys. This is a good one.
Oh, you can see just how Ryan is starting to struggle here. Is starting to feel the pressure of Ty McLeod as they head to start their final lap of the event. And the gap now 0.3 of a second between the pair of them. I think this is an easy job through Hangar.
I think he's got him. Watch the run as they come down here. No, he's going to have to wait. He'll have a little more time to get there. Meanwhile, your leader, René Oosterkamp, working on the last flag, on the last lap. Going through Priory right now. He's comfortably 1.7 seconds up on his nearest competition, Jean-Francois Godin. Comes around this sweeping right-hander of Luffield. Wait and wait and wait. Nothing between him and the checkered flag. Round number 4, the sprint race goes to the German René Oosterkamp. French-Canadian Jean-Francois Godin gets second. We assume Mark Usher is going to get third. Let's go ahead and jump back to the Dos Equis position. Let's see if Ryan can hold off McLeod.
This is the one chance that's needed. It's a wide line taken by Ryan McLeod, looking to get himself a pole for the next race. He goes to the outside, trying to get the run on the inside. No room being given between the pair of them. Here comes McLeod, though, and that's a 3:16 if ever I saw one. But look at this. Ryan fights back on the run into Priory. He gets the inside, up and under attempt then coming from McLeod. He looks for it, down to the inside, contact, and that is going to be him stopping and letting him go. Great sportsmanship between them, and look at this now, trying to take advantage of it. Daniel Morris might steal 20th.
While you guys are fooling around being polite, Daniel Morris says, let me in here as well. I don't think he's going to get there. Ryan, nothing but a straightaway now between him and the checkered flag. He's going to get that 20th position. 21st goes to Daniel Morris. How about a tip of the hat to Ty McLeod for sportsmanship, though, as he's going to come across in 22nd. That is right.
Well, fair play to Ty McLeod. He didn't have to give that position back, but he knew that the stewards would have a word afterwards anyway, regardless. So, got to be careful about those sorts of things. Giving the position back, giving the initiative back, I think was a very fair play move from Ty McLeod. One of the nicest people you'll meet in sim racing right now. And well, what has to be said is that was a pretty good race from start to finish. Has to be said. Great to be back.
And as the drivers complete their final lap, remember that the best part of any doubleheader is the break between the races. It's the perfect blend of the post-race high and the pre-race jitters. What we're going to do right now on GSRC is take a short break. We'll come back to run down the entire finishing order of the feature race that you just saw, talk to a few of the drivers before we get our ducks in a row to bring you the 25-minute sprint race that will follow. Back in a few. Welcome back to the Global Sim Racing Channel's coverage of Apex Online Racing's Formula Renault 2.0 Season 8 Championship. It's round 4 from Silverstone. Time to run down the finishing order of the feature race that just concluded. He started on the pole, he lost the lead, and he got it back. We're talking about René Oosterkamp. He gets the win over his rival, Jean-Francois Godin. Mark Usher did his best to run those guys down, couldn't get there. He'll have to settle for third. Adam Tierney and Harrison Fitch go fourth and fifth. Patrick Kessler comes home sixth. A very, very quiet seventh place for Richard Arnault. Christoph Holstein comes home in eighth. Carl Jansen has trouble, but Jansen makes his way up into ninth. Our top Tier 2 driver, once again, it is Jonas Vastamaki. Jake?
Charlie Summers finishes 11th with Luke Barton leading rookie. Not having the result that he'd want, but he still wins the rookie category. Well, he comes second in the rookie category, overall in 12th position. Josh Thompson, maybe a little disappointed to finish 13th, but could be the big mover in the second race. Knut Martinsen, though, the series organizer, in 14th, up 12. Great run from him, with an Eric Andre just behind 15th and 16th for Jerome de Courtel, up 8 positions of his own. Stefan Hermann will finish in 17th overall, with Evan Imre 18th. Rudolf Nagel finishes 19th, and rounding out the top 20, why, it's good old Colin Ryan.
Tier 2 driver Daniel Morris almost vultured his way up into the Dos Equis transfer spot. He'll have to settle for the blackjack position. Ty McLeod did all he could to get around Rudolf Nagel. Ashley bumped him, then he waited for him to get back on the track. That cost him a position. McLeod comes home into the double duck spot. Stefan Larkamp and Sarah Dove had a battle. Larkamp gets the best of that, 23rd. Dove in 24th. Christian Tkach, former champion, 25th. Not a good day for him. Robin Banks Bardin in the 26th spot. Casper Thon, Ziv Sade, Alexander Valdo, Yannick Onyega, Silvio Hurt, Fabricio Donoso. We got an eye for him for a while. He ran into some trouble. Manuel Hoyer, Alexis Miradioso, Andrew Greenhall, and Rubomir Morris round out the 36-car field. Okay, we have some interviews ready. Nobody is here yet for us. So before we go to interviews then, Jake, let's go ahead and look at the final standings. We talked about some drivers that might get a regrid, that might be somebody to watch. One of your guys, Josh Thompson, somebody keep an eye on.
Yeah, Josh Thompson's one of those incredibly quick drivers who puts a lot of effort into a lot of races. Incredibly nice guy who has been all around and back. I know Mondays he races, Tuesdays he races, Wednesdays and Thursdays and Fridays he races, and he'll be racing this Saturday in the iRacing World Road to Pro Series. So he's got everything going at him right now, and he's just trying to do everything under the sun. And I know that Rob Cuss will try and push him hard to try and get Radicals Online out as much as possible, but the boy's got talent no matter where he puts it, and it shows because he's fighting for a world championship seat. It shows because he is very quick when he gets to it here. He didn't have the best of races in this opening race, but this second race is more likely to suit him, especially because I know I raced against him last night.
And he'll be gridded on the outside of row 4, just ahead of our fastest rookie. Somebody keep an eye on. The jury is still out on Luke Barton, racing in the number 64 machine. He'll be on the inside of row 5. He qualified 5th. He's going to be gridded ahead of a lot of other faster drivers. Jonas Vastamaki will get the inside of row 6 if everybody comes back. Keep an eye on Carl Jansen as well. He qualified 17th. Qualifying probably not Jansen's strength. He seems to be a better driver than he is a qualifier.
Yeah, and Carl Jansen is one of those drivers who maybe Formula Racing isn't his biggest strength in the world. And I think that as a very good versatile tool, Carl Jansen can be that driver who does fill a very good role inside Radicals Online. I think he'd be very well suited to try and make a Blancpain push for 2018, if not 2019. I think that Carl Jansen has done a very good job. He made great positions through the field, so we know he can overtake. And with drivers there that he knows that he can get past, except maybe Josh Thompson, maybe one that could be a difficulty, I think Carl Jansen could be one of those drivers who makes easily 10 positions, but he's got to be careful. A lot of hungry drivers are behind him, and he's got to make sure he knows what he's doing.
Well, if I had the very personal Sean Crackers Ambrose in the booth next to me. I know we'd be swamped with interviews, but because I got Jake Sperry here, I think he's scaring away all the drivers, as no one's going to come and talk to us. So what we'll do right now, I know, well, Jake, your reputation precedes you. What we'll do right now is take a break. We'll get all of our ducks in a row. We'll come back shortly to bring you the 25-minute, always excited, inverted grid, no pit stop sprint race here on the Global Sim Racing channel. Don't go far. Back in a few. You're watching the Global Sim Racing Channel's coverage of Apex Online Racing's Formula Renault 2.0 Season 8 Championship. It's round 4 from Silverstone. The feature race is in the books. And now the commentators, drivers, and fans alike turn their attention to the sprint race. Jake, what's it all about?
Fast pace, fast action, and a whole lot of overtaking is normally what we get to see. But of course, the points, well, they slightly change for this sprint because, of course, going from 40 minutes down to just 25, it means that there are a few differences indeed. The top 20 grid inverts, no stops, but the points gap changes. It is now 11 times the points that go through. And of course, the top 20 get inverted, but you can't be more than one lap down. But of course, because this race is such an important one, because there are so many positions that go through, the fast repair is brought into play. The T-car, as it were, is rolled out. And if you get into a wreck, you can make sure that you get yourself up there. But there are reduced points because of the shortened time on this one. Just 20 points constitute now a race victory overall, 17 for second, 15 for third. But crucially, the bonus points come into play. 1 for pole position, 1 for fastest lap, 2 points for a 0x race without any incident, and 1 point for a 1 incident point only. Well, that's 11 points. It should be something that go through. An extra point here and there can be so vital.
We always talk about doing the double. Don't know if René Oosterkamp is going to be able to get it done to get around the 19 cars that are in front of him, because there is some tough competition between him and the first position. We talked about drivers to keep an eye on. Josh Thompson going to be one of them. Another one is Carl Janssen. They should get good inversions, as will Bardon, who we're looking to start up front. The trick is here, Jake, if you can't, you may not be able to win this for a 20th spot, but you want to follow it up with a good result.
You certainly do, and it's not going to be a case that you can make your way around everybody. You're not going to have someone bunching up the field as certain people have done in the past at certain tracks, but what you are going to see is maybe the quicker drivers will look to be a little bit greedy, look to try and take positions maybe that aren't warranted towards them because they're battling slower drivers. And sometimes those slower drivers may start to panic because they know that the quicker drivers behind them will get through. And it doesn't matter if it's raining or if it's sunny or if there's anything going on or if there's a day-night transition somewhere. They'll make a move and they'll go through when they decide they want to go through.
Well, what the series did do, and they're calling it the Jake Sperry rule, is they changed the invert from being on the lead lap, last car on the lead lap, to being the last car in 20th position. That means that you can't, what the drivers like to call, sperry it and just race around slow, stay on the lead lap, get yourself a pole position. So, Jake, wouldn't be a good season for you.
That's a little bit unfair. I earned my battle for 5 laps. I battled hard for 5 laps and made sure that nobody would get past me except my teammates.
We're looking to go 25 minutes, no stops here. The trick is, can they avoid the big one? Now, they avoided the big one on the first lap in the feature. Things really didn't get crazy until lap number 2, and honestly, the action was so intense we didn't have a chance to come back to give you those incidents that took out so many of the drivers. Hopefully, they'll be able to get all the cars around and they'll get stretched out and get some good racing in. Usually not the case, though, in these feature races and these sprint races.
No, someone like me normally comes along and has something to say about it, but what you do see, though, from these races is that maybe this track doesn't normally allow for that lap 1 incident unless the track is fiercely cold, because it's so hot when it comes to this circuit right now at 40 degrees. It means that the vehicle is more prone to understeer than it is to oversteer, so less incidents you're likely to see, but till the practice time's over, the grid will soon be as follows.
No qualifying as they grid up based on the results from the previous race. So as soon as iRacing populates that for me, I'll go ahead and give it to you. Waiting for it should happen. And there it is on the front row. It's rookie Connor Ryan, Rudolph Nagel. Row 2, Evan Emre, Stefan Herman, Jeroen de Cortel, and Enric Enry. Row 3. Row 4, the Orange Viking, Knut Martinson, Luke Barden, Charlie Summers, and Jonas Vastamaki in row 5. Jake?
Carly Janssen populates row 6 with Christoph Holstein. Wycombs, Richard Arnault from 13th with Kessler alongside the Swiss Superman. Harrison Finch in 15th with Adam Tierney alongside. Then you've got Usher, Godin, and René Oosterkamp in 19th position. Somebody definitely is missing. Daniel Morris in 20th.
Look at that. 21st to 30th, Ty McLeod, Stefan Larkamp, Sarah Dove, Christian DeCatch, Robin Banks, Bardon, Casper Thrain, Ziv Sade, Alexander Valdo. 29th is Yannick Onyega and Silvio Hurt. Jake?
Yeah, and then you look after Silvio Hurt, Donoso, Hoyer, Merilioso, Greenhalgh, Moritz, and Josh Thompson not starting from 7th, starting from 36th.
19 drivers got the re-grid. One is missing, that Jake's found out, but the engine's harmonized.
Jump start.
Oh, it looked like it happened from maybe
Herman.
4th position. Yeah, it was Herman. He's going to get the black flag. Meanwhile, gather up the chicken steak, cover behind the cows, because the horses are out of the barn. One horse was out early, and it's Ryer Connor leading the group down into the first corner. Nagel, Andre, Emre, and Decortel, your top 5.
I am completely surprised that Herman did not just gun it and leave, because he was so far gone that he wants to go through. Vehicle off, though. That's, I believe, Vastamaki going to go spearing across the circuit. And everyone's going to run 6th and 7th, and one vehicle up over on its roof.
Most of them got through. One of the drivers that was caught up in that one is off. It is, well, Vastamaki is on his roof, and also, I guess, is Greenhalgh, too.
Yeah, a lot of drivers on their roof. Larkamp was certainly one of them. They're 4 wide trying, though, with McLeod involved as well. The carnage, we did expect it. It is in play, and already the position's making Janssen looking to get past Barton, but Barton's not going to let him, but he's still going to try around the outside. Inside then for Club, force him off the line that he would most prefer. Carly Janssen with a fantastic move to go through, but still at the front, Connor Ryan and Eric Andre up to 2nd, and the veteran experience of Andre now coming into play. Still, though, you look, Imre now trying to have a look for the podium and battle for the lead. Through goes Andre.
Andre gets as they work through. That was Bridge. Now they go in, and it is Ryan behind them. 3rd and 4th is Nagel and Imre Decortel. Moving up on the inside, picking up into 8th position is Richard Arnaud. He gets around Charlie Summers.
Oh, Janssen. Oh, Carly Janssen just threaded a gap that definitely was not there on De Courtel. And De Courtel was nice. He left the room, but they're still side by side in the run to Cops. And Janssen has just made a position like a magician out of nowhere.
Now he fights for 5th. He dives it in deep into the first corner. He gets it done, looking to see if he can make any room up on Imre right now. Imre taking his half out of the middle. The battle is for 4th. Janssen gets that done, and he brings some company with him. Imre gets pushed off. 1, 2, 3 cars go by. 4, 5 cars. 1 car out on the grass blinking. It's got to be Summers.
It is. And well, you can see that Summers losing the positions, and Imre did not want anything to do with that battle. And now you can see Mark Usher going to come down to the inside, steal a position away. Usher making positions. Holstein trying to get through. Osterkamp and Godin now looking to think about making positions as well. Here comes Tierney on Christoph Holstein down to the inside, stealing a position away. Needed to steal that position, the reigning champion, but side by side still. De Courtel now with Luke Barton on the outside, and Barton going backwards, it seems, in this event. That's not where he wants to be positioning himself. Don't
need to go there. In this report, though, that Osterkamp, remember, he's your feature race winner. He made his way around Godin, who was gridded ahead of him. He's now racing at 13th position. And that's going to be so crucial coming towards the end, because he's right on this train with Holstein, Tierney, Imre, Usher, Finch, Arnaud, Barton, Let's go to third. Janssen. Yes, Janssen and Nagel. And Nagel did not have much in response there as he looks to go back to the inside. And that's an easy move from Janssen, who tracks very wide. Contact behind. That's De Courtel around. He just got loose right in front of Luke Barton. Oh, took it off onto the grass. Oh, it wasn't contact, though. I think it may have been... Oh, it was close, but De Courtel spinning, looping that one around, maybe hoping for a bit of contact, maybe trying to con some stewards. All right, let's catch our breath. Our leader by a second is the French driver, Henrik Andre. Ryan Connor, he was in that Dos Equis position, still hanging on in second. Here comes Carl Janssen. He is up 8 spots into third. Nagel, Barton. Then the action starts. Back in 6th position. Arnaud, Finch, Usher, who's on a move. Keep an eye on Usher in 8th right now as he sees to get around Harrison Finch. Well, you can see they're all there, and you can see the big snake happening, and Usher hard to the inside. Then as he goes through 2 tires on the grass like Ryan Hunter-Reay, but checks out of it because Arnaud was heavy defense into the corner. There's contact. Finch gets a massive slide. He comes into the path of Tierney, and it goes 6th and 7th. Everyone runs in avoidance. Oh, on his roof is McLeod as he cartwheels up into the fence. More cars, though. We're going to have to get a replay of this one as there are several drivers involved.
Oh, that's a heavy, heavy bit of contact. And, well, that all happened from Harrison Finch. And then that was all just nowhere to go for Ty McLeod. He will feel that he is very hard done by. He went to the inside. Oh, vehicle there. Goodbye.
And then Finch and Quartel get together. That took out several drivers.
Well, it's an unfortunate incident, but that is drivers being far too aggressive in this sprint race. Yes, you have to make positions, but you saw just how uber defensive and uber aggressive Usher and also Arnaud was. Arnaud wanted to make that position stay, but still...
More problems on the track there as Anye got into it.
Oh, and they're all coming in now. Tierney dives down for the lane. Hoyer dives down onto the lane. They're looking to use the fast repair, get in and out. Summers in.
Summer and Osterkamp was involved this one as well. If we can find it, Osterkamp and Summers got caught up in this one. Osterkamp was making his way through the field. His day is over.
No, it's not. He's still out there, but Imre will go through. But there is massive damage to that front wing, and I expect Osterkamp to stay out and try and hold as many positions as he can here in this 25 minutes. He may decide to dive down in if he feels that he can gain that time back up again, but Osterkamp struggling. Battle for second, though. Keep an eye on this as we get a replay. Carly Jansen through on Connor Ryan.
We knew that one was coming, so now Ryan, the rookie, drops back. Could not get a replay of the Osterkamp incident, but the German driver is out there. He's going to soldier on as he's going to see what he can do with that car. Coming in, which just pretty much puts an end to any kind of points you could get. Jansen now up into second. But he's got Eric Andre. He's got 2 seconds to get to him, and Andre's no slouch.
No, and Eric Andre is a very, very quick driver, and he has been in some of the best leagues in the world. Nagel and Barton having a scrap. Barton was all shades of out of shape as they go through up and under, though, from Richard Arnaud. Usher was all over the place as he headed through Priory, and that was Arnaud making that one look easy. Contact with Godin, and Jean-Francois, the French-Canadian, well, getting a little bit too greedy through the corner. Careful on the front wing.
Usher has been working as hard as he can to get around Richard Arnaud, but he just can't do it. And now he's back in the clutches of another French-speaking driver, and that is Godin. Holstein in ninth, watching the whole thing happen in front of him.
Yeah, he's got to be careful here. Does Marc Usher? He can't afford to be caught into any silly battles. He needs the points. Osterkamp is struggling now on the front wing and is dropping position on position. I think he's dived down onto the lane he has, so he thinks the damage is too much. He's got to be on the recovery drive late in this one, so that's going to be the worry. But Barton again now looking at Rudolf Nagel. This is the scrap you see for position number 4. Nagel is the man under pressure. Nagel has to think about doing the defensive job, but look at this. To the outside goes Luke Barton, trying to go the long way around. Doesn't work. Little bit of contact between the pair. Gets away with murder a little bit there. Maybe just manslaughter.
That's a pair of rookies going at it. One rookie who's really fast, one rookie who really worked hard to get into that 20th position. Nagel doing his very best to make Barton work for it. Arnaud behind him. And now here comes Arnaud and Usher.
Yeah,
let's stay on this one.
Yeah, certainly will, because Rudolph, getting close again. He's got to be careful here. He goes very defensive with the driver in front. Usher sends one down to the inside of Arnaud, but Arnaud has the inside for the next corner, and they're both checking up because of the 2 rookies that they have just in front. All for position, mind you, on the brakes into the left-hander. Usher does it around the outside. Very accomplished move, and he will take prime priority as he looks to get past Barton and Nagel.
Finally gets around Arnaud. Now Godin trying to get around Arnaud as well. I think Godin's going to have the preferred position going into 1. I think he's going to get that done. Barton.
Oh, they almost touched. My goodness, I think they did. Barton getting away with it. Usher hard down to the inside, yes. And now Marc Usher is through, and he took advantage of a very opportune situation.
Finally, Usher has been working so hard. Remember, he's got visions of winning this thing. He can't fool around with these guys. Now he's got Nagel. He should be able to make short work of him. That'll put him in 3rd. What's going on ahead of these guys? Well, Connor will put him in 4th. Connor Ryan remains in 3rd. Can Jansen, has he made up any ground yet on Andre? Not really.
Well, yes, he has.
He has about a second, isn't he? He's coming.
Yeah, he is coming, but he's got time to make that happen. Through goes the driver of Jean-Francois Godin on Barton. Through goes the driver of Richard Arnaud on Barton. Here comes Christoph Holstein on Barton, and Barton does not have a response. The train came, the train has left the station, and look who's stuck on the platform trying to go up and under on Holstein, but no chance for Wycombs. Side by side now, Marc Usher's got the run.
Let's go up to 5th real quick. This is Usher. We're watching. Here we go. Usher and Nagel. He's going to get this done. He's going to put that rookie behind. And talk about the rookies. Nagel was, remember, he was in that fight with Barden. Well, Barden has fallen back. Nagel's done a good job of hanging on.
He reminds you of a good, accomplished driver that wasn't Jake Sperry.
Oh!
That's Godin going around.
Yeah, a little bit of the concertina effect there, as he got a little bit of a tap behind from Arnaud.
Well, that's what happens when you start checking up, and again, Barton having to check up, and look at this, he dived down to the lane. Oh, Kessler was all caught up in all shades of wrong, and that was Kessler trying to get back out on circuit.
It's going to make Barton take a pit stop.
Wow, well, Barton had to have damage.
Oh, I don't think he wanted to take a pit stop. I think he got turned in there.
I don't think he was turned in there. He was heading down there. Then the contact happened there, Soup. I think you're completely wrong with that analogy. I think Barton maybe had enough damage to come down, take that fast repair. I think that he's in a little bit of hot water, and Kessler was caught in all shades of wrong.
Now, maybe Kessler might have been defending the inside. It's a tough call. Either way, he's took that stop. Also, we report that Osterkamp finally did have to take a stop, so he's out of it.
Yeah. Well, we're on position 8. Kessler under pressure. Here comes Richard Arnaud. Behind that, you got Saradov and Robin Bondon having their own little scrap. Kessler holds the position then for the time being. So does Saradov, but Bondon wants to go around the outside, try and make this move, but he's just not got enough to make that position. And, well, Evan Imre will sit and wait.
Battle back 12th. You look at the rookie. Now we're on, this is the Gardon being challenged.
Or challenging.
But there's Arnaud.
Yeah, he's through. Easy. No chance. Arnaud's got heavy damage to the front wing. There's not much he can do about that. He is in a whole spot of bother when he goes through. Look at the driver, though, who started from dead last, though, Josh Thompson. We say he likes these reverse races. He's already up to 8th position.
Make that 7th position we're hearing there. So he is certainly on a run. What's going on up front? Little by little, Carl the Man Janssen has been able to run down Eric Andre. The interval now 0.7 of a second.
Well, and Eric Andre, well, he has a lot of experience, the likes of FSR and the like, so he knows how to deal with characters who close down. He knows how Carly Janssen will want to make that push. He knows that nobody is going to come along unless they come together out on circuit. He'll be very happy with the things that go on. But look at Nagel again, under pressure. Here comes Christoph Holstein. Wide comes to the outside. The Swiss driver looking to go the long way around.
I like Nagel. He's a fighter. He's going to make him work for it. He takes that defensive line. Even though he got regrid up there, Holstein gets the job done on the top side. Nagel drops down to 6th, but he's one tough son of a gun.
He is very tough, is Nagel, and he's certainly proving his worth here, battling against them. Josh Thompson will be the next driver trying to get through on this training. He'll want to get through as quickly, as swiftly, and as effectively as he can. Behind that, though, Vastamarki versus Imre. I think Imre has played the tactical game here in this second race here. He didn't want anything to do with the battles in the early parts. In his second part, he's just going to look and pick positions. Defensive early, though, from Vastamarki there. And I think that was a little bit too far back from Imre to really do anything. A little bit of a meaningless defense there from Vastamarki.
Got to watch up front because he has closed up. We have to be careful. Janssen, the problem with the way Janssen races as a commentator's point of view, if there's an opening, he will grab it. So you got to keep an eye on him the whole time. He's not going to let an opportunity pass by. And right now, he's only, 2 car lengths back of Andre.
Well, here's the run that he needs. He heads through Maggots. He needs a good Beckett's and a good Chapel. If he gets the Chapel that he wants, he'll be able to run down the hanger straight and decide to make that move on an Eric Andre, but he's not going to be close enough at this stage to really make that charge. They head under the Silverstone footbridge, and now they start to make that run. Defensive line taken, though, slightly from an Eric Andre. He wanted to cover the move just in case there was a late lunge, and Carly Janssen will sit and he will wait. Ryan loses the position to 3rd. Marcus is coming.
Leaders now working through club. About 2 car lengths back. Janssen looking for any opportunity. I don't think he's going to do anything here. He'll probably wait till after they work through the technical section. He's got himself positioned. A car length back. Oh, my goodness. Can't do anything through here. Can you, Carl?
He tried. give him credit, he tried, he thought about it, got caught in two minds, had to back out of the move because he positioned it, and you can see Andre going round and round and holding it, and Janssen takes a gift. Janssen takes the lead, and Janssen may just take a race if things stay the way they are.
Bit of a mirror pass there as that car was getting really big in Andre's mirror, and it pressured him into a mistake. We'll go on board. Watch Enric fight the car. And you'll see going around. There he goes.
Yeah, it's just the way that you fight it. It's very easy for that to happen, and we've seen it 4 or 5 times already. Jean-Francois Godin, though, if we can go back to live, scrapping with Nagel, having to do it the long way round at Copse. Nagel, good defense through turn number 1. Exactly what you like to see. No nonsense from Rudolf Nagel. He's fighting for every position he's got. He's got nothing else to lose in this event. Into the rights and lefts then of Maggots, now into Beckett, now looking for Chapel, and Jean-Francois Godin wants the mother of runs, and right now he's just about going to get it. He'll get a nice bit of tow right now.
Really a tale of two cities here. You have one driver not in the championship hunt, racing for respect. You have another driver, a former champion, with all the respect you could want, racing for points, working around the top side. The light blue car of Godin, can he get it done? He does. Nevertheless, Nagel putting on more of a battle.
Oh, he was, and that was fair play from the pair of them. They both wanted that scrap. In the end, it didn't work out in Nagel's favour, but give him credit for holding on, for trying, and making sure that he works on it to get himself through. Battles, though, towards the front, slightly drying out a bit, but Connor Ryan right now has to be the man who gets the most credit from me because he's held on to positions quite well. He's only down to 4th. Holstein chasing, Thompson chasing, and if Thompson gets a top 5 after starting 36th position dead last, I think he'll be taking that one to the bank. And Sarah Dove?
Sarah Dove with an off there. She was in a nice battle racing up here with Tkach and Vastamaki. Let's jump ahead, Director, up to that 11th position. This is Vastamaki ahead of the Rolling Thunder, Evan Emre, and former champion Christian Tkach. A battle for 11th. Vastamaki, once again, our top Tier 2 driver.
Well, very easy for Jonas Vastamaki right now. He hasn't had a single challenger in Tier 2 as things stand. And Mark Usher running into issues then. Usher very slow, coming out of Cop's corner. And yes, getting caught up far too much over the AstroTurf. It bites back here at Silverstone.
He was racing in 3rd, trying to run down the 2 cars in front of him. Pushed it a little too far. He falls back into 9th.
Well, he was 6 seconds back. I don't see why Mark Usher was pushing so hard. There was nothing to do. Side by side now for 3rd. Holstein now in a scrap with Connor Ryan, and Ryan loses out. Christoph Holstein now puts himself up on the podium.
Usher is a pusher. That's just the way he does it. If we look there at Holstein, that battle.
But it looks very, very comfortable right now for Holstein. He caught and got through. Now Josh Thompson in 5th. Could have 4th position. This is the story of driver of the day from Josh Thompson. He's found himself avoiding the landmines left and right, and now, like a bomb defusal expert, he's got 2 more that he needs to just negotiate with in the late stages of this one. Still got 7 minutes left to go plus by the time they get there, and Thompson had a look and forces the issue because there was Connor Ryan, scared he was going to make contact.
Ryan was going to close the door and then kind of thought better of it, left it half open. Left the door ajar, as Jake likes to say. Up to 4th position now goes Thompson. And I think he probably has the legs to run down Holstein with just under 7 minutes of racing to go. Our leader, Carl Janssen, out in front comfortably by 0.8 of a second as he tries to pull away from Enric Andre. Andre with a 7-second gap over Holstein. Holstein has no chance of getting up there. Holstein got to be looking behind for the pressure. Here comes Josh Thompson.
Yeah, here comes Josh Thompson thinking about it. Holstein, though, about a second away, so maybe has a chance to try and run for the hills, does Christoph Holstein, but I wouldn't count anything out from an Enric Andre. He was quicker on that last lap than Carly Janssen. Carly Janssen is not safe by any stretch of the imagination. One wrong move, one bit of AstroTurf outside of Copse, one bit of grass as you come off of the Vale. Anything happens in motorsport. I've called many races where the race has come down to the final corner. You know that Carly Janssen is not safe until the last corner is turned.
Got to get a little bit of love to the driver in 16th position, Casper Thrain. He's back there. This is for a point, Casper. Nice job from you. You've worked your way up from 26th position, up 10 spots. Hang on there. This is the final points-paying position. Do you have to worry about anybody behind you? Who's chasing you down?
Martinson.
It's Kmart, Knut Martinson. Something to watch.
Yeah, and he was down from 7th to 17th, so minus 10 positions, and Casper Thrain may be an endangered species at this stage in time. But further forward, side by side, Vastenmarki and Christian Takash, the Norwegian, trying to go around the outside at Priory. The Norwegian trying to go around the outside at Brooklands Corner. And the Norwegian may just have the inside by the time they get to Luffield Corner. But around the outside goes the Finn of Vastenmarki. He gets a good run off the exit as Takash was wiggly through the mid part of the apex, and Christian Takash loses out.
What a fun race from Eunice is putting on with Christian. Meanwhile, I think we better check in up in front. As try as he might, Janssen has not been able to get away from Andre. He's still back by only a second. Just under 5 minutes of racing to go. One mistake from Carl, and he's certainly capable of making a mistake. And that brings Andre back into the mix.
Any driver's capable of making a mistake. It doesn't matter if you happen to be Carly Janssen or Martin Kroenke. It doesn't matter who it is. They are able to make mistakes. Everybody here is human. Now and Eric Andre will be thinking about things. Tell you who is thinking about things right now. Patrick Kessler, Connor Ryan there. He's got through Jean-Francois Gadin. Of course, very friendly Kessler and Gadin. They're all having this nice little scrap going on. 6, 7, well, 5, 6 and 7. Kessler's already through. Jean-Francois Gadin wants a piece of the action. He's thinking about it. He's been given no room to work with, and suddenly on the outside he's hoping for help from Kessler. Doesn't get much of it on the run into bridge, and I think he's just made it.
Got it there. Now that's probably an easier pass on Connor Ryan. I think getting around Kessler, that may be a little tougher road. Gudon up into 6th, Kessler into 5th. Let's check in on Vastenmarki. He is side by side with Takash. Vastenmarki in the yellow car had the preferred position through priority. Now as they work through this spot, now it's going to switch back. I think Takash should be able to get it as they go through left field.
He didn't get it last time. There was a little wiggle this time, though, from Vastenmarki on the outside. It reminds you of Jussi Jääkelä and Graham Carroll, but it doesn't work out the way in Vastenmarki's favour. He loses the position just, but you can see heavy defence already from Takash. Back to the outside. He tries to look to try and get down the outside here at the corner of Copse, and Vastenmarki did not give that up. He held that position back. Look up to 3rd, though, because Holstein could be a man under pressure. Josh Thompson wants a piece of it.
Thompson probably too far back to get to the leaders right now, but as they go down into Stowe, the defensive line from Holstein. Thompson looking for a way around him. Going to have to do it on the top side. That's fine. He'll have a momentum. He'll have the drive off here as they go through Vale. I think he should be able to finish. Can he get it before they go to Club? They get it done.
Well, he gave that position away there, did Christoph Holstein. I'm a little bit disappointed there. I could have seen side by side into the Vale maybe a little bit more, but at this late stage, I think Holstein's waiting for a better opportunity here to get the toe and get the run into bridge, and he does. He goes to the inside. It wasn't defended by Josh Thompson, who wants the outside line to get the inside for Priory and Brooklyn. As you can see, he holds that position, trying to go up and under. It's Holstein. That's not going to work. Defensive line taken then from the Radicals online driver, and he holds position for the moment. But as they cross the line for Carly Janssen, I think timer is a ticking, because as they cross that start-finish line, we are 2 laps away from the end.
Stay on this battle for 3rd. The defensive line from Thompson, now he eases it over to track left, brings it back down to the middle, doing a little bit of weaving, but that's okay because Holstein was not there really to make a run as they work their way into the Maggots Beckett Chapel complex.
Well, he's making it look very comfortable here as he extends his run through the rights and lefts, and Josh Thompson showing his pace here, breaking 3/4 tenths of a second through this stretch alone, and now you can see how much the legs have been stretched. Ryan under pressure. Mark Usher wants to get back past for a second time, and I think Connor Ryan may be a little bit easy this time with Usher straight to the inside. No defense taken. He accepted that Mark Usher was a quicker driver and accepted that Mark Usher was going to go through, and no room given on the apex there for the driver of what was Connor Ryan.
We're going to jump you around a lot. Let's go to 16th position. Knut Martinson, remember the final points position? Well, Thrain has fallen way back. Martinson has got it, but here comes Adam Tierney looking for a way to get a point. Tierney and Martinson side by side as they go through Stowe.
He thought about it. He thought about it, didn't work for Tierney, but Tierney knows that he's got a very dab hand when it comes to racing. Ian Martinson, AOR Fizzy, wants a fight, and right now he wants to hope that Tierney goes away. He wants this point. He's going to cuddle it as if it's his child or something, but you can see again how Adam Tierney wants to go straight to the inside. The white flag will fly for a lap to go, and down to the inside, he looks for the move. It doesn't happen.
And we're looking at Tkach and Vastamaki on screen right now. Vastamaki in the yellow car. Tkach is going to get that spot. Leader is on the white flag lap. Tkach up to 11th. Let's stay on this Vastamaki with a great run. As they cross the start-finish line, Tkach is going to play defense on the inside. Watch the momentum from Vastamaki, the Tier 2 driver, as they go down into corner number 1. I think the yellow car should be able to get it done as he gets the drive off. They continue to be Cialis bathtubs now through 2. We'll stay on this one until they decide. They bump. And I think finally Vastamaki gets the spot.
But it's not decisive just yet. That's going to be very crucial. The battle for the final points position, though. Tierney is finally through, and he'll be happy that he's finally through as they make the run then through Chapel on towards the Hangar Straight, but I'm not sure it's decisive. Great run off the exit, though, from the driver of Tierney. I think he's safe from here to the end, but now Thompson's still under pressure from Holstein. Last chance saloon.
And we got to go up to our leader right now as he works his way through Priory. Down into 14 through Brooklands. He just has the one more sweeping right-hander of Luffield to do. He's come from 11th position up to the lead. He has been hot. He is the man. Carl, the man, Janssen picks up the sprint race win here for round number 4 from Silverstone. Second place is going to go to Enric Andre. Josh Thompson, is he going to be able to hold it off? I think so. Looks like it's going to be Thompson, Holstein, and Godin in a drag race to the finish line. They're going to come across 3rd, 4th, 5th in that order. Yes!
Yes, they do. Very good driving from them, but still battles. Vastamaki holds off then the driver of Tkach, and De Quartel wanted a piece of it. Looking back for the final point, though, Adam Tierney's done very well to fight back for that final point, considering they had to be down on the lane for what was a very important pit stop that he had to make.
Tierney started 16th, finishing 16th, but he was able to put in a pit stop like Jake said. All the points come across. That's it. Everybody else trying to work out their finishing of the lead lap. What we'll do right now is go to a break. We'll come back to run down the entire finishing order, talk to some of the drivers before we put a lock on the gate. Back in a few. Welcome back to the Global Sim Racing Channel's coverage of Apex Online Racing's Formula Renault 2.0 Championship. The feature race is in the book, the sprint race is in the book. Let's give you the finishing order of the sprint race that just wrapped up. The top 10 is decorated by rookies, 4 of them, and one of them is the winner. Carl the Man Jansen comes home in first. He comes from 11th to get that win. Enric Andre and Josh Thompson go second and third to round out your podium. Christoph Holstein and Jean-Francois Godin, 4th and 5th. Patrick Kessler gets 6th. Mark Usher, try as he might to come from 17th, picks up 10 spots to get 7th. Then we get to 3 more rookies. He started on the pole. Connor Ryan does a good job to come home in 8th. Robin Banks Bondan in 25th to 9th. What a run from that rookie. And Rudolph, tough as Nagel, is in 10th spot. Wow, what a great run up there from those guys. Jake?
Yeah, great run. Jonas Vastamaki takes the tier 2, though, finishing in 11th position, -1 for his day in the second race. Christian Takash, nice to see him making moves, though, up into 12th position. Jerome de Quartel finishes 13th ahead of one of the first ladies of sim racing in Sarah Dove. Evan Imre will finish home in 15th with Adam Tierney stealing a point in the final few laps for 16th. Knut Martinsen will finish 17th ahead of Manuel Hoyer from Positive Sim Racing. Casper Thrain 19th with Charlie Summers rounding out the top 20.
If I've said it once, I've said it 1,000 times. Winning the feature race is nice, but you got to follow it up. Rene Osterkamp could not as he finishes in the blackjack spot out of the points ahead of Stefan Herman, Alexander Baldo, Luke Barton, Richard Arnaud. Again, he was great. He was impressive, but he's going to come home in the quarter-century mark. Lubomir Morris, not a good day from him. Finishes out of the points in both events in 26th. 27th, 28th, and 29th goes to Silvio Hurt. The Israeli drivers Ziv Sadeh and Daniel Morris rounding out your top 30. Fabrizio Donoso. Jake?
Yeah, Fabrizio Donoso in 30th. Harrison Finch struggled today. Drivers who failed to finish, likes of Yannick Ojena, Ty McLeod struggling, Green Hulk, Stephen Larkamp, and Alex Mielioso finishes out 36th, or does not finish out 36th, but rather ends up in 36th.
Okay, I've got our sprint race winner in here, Carl the Man Jansen. We talked to him a lot. He's becoming a fan favorite here on GSRC. Carl, let's first of all talk about qualifying. That does not seem to be your forte. If I had to say if you were a better qualifier or racer, I say you're a better racer than qualifier. Agree?
Yeah. We had a lot of problems with the setups this week. And I just had one good lap really.
All right. You finished what I think would be about 9th, I guess, in the feature race. Never really in the hunt there. Sprint race, though, a little bit different. You had to start back in 11th. You avoided all the issues, then one by one started picking them off.
Yeah, the first lap was really, really good. I was just shooting it in, or as soon as I got a opportunity, I just went for it because I knew the faster guys would come. So I was just hunting them down and trying to get away as fast as I could.
Enric had a nice lead on you. It took you a while to run him down when you got behind him. You worked him a little bit, then finally spot.
Yeah, it was good. I was a little bit faster, but when I passed him, it seemed like my tires started to go off because we started to fall into the same speed. So yeah, that was good.
Let's get you out of here on this one. Are we going to see you tomorrow on any GSRC broadcasts?
Yes, I believe you will see me on the Camel GT one.
The Camel GT? Okay, good. Look forward to seeing you there. Good luck in your Audi. Well, hey, if you had your choice, the Audi or the Renault 2.0, which one you prefer?
It's completely different cars. I don't really know, but I'm more of a GT guy than I am of a Formula guy. So yeah.
Just goes to show you how impressive that you are doing so well in 2 different cars. Congratulations. Good luck tomorrow and back the rest of the way in the AOR. Good luck.
Thank you.
Carl Jansen, your sprint race winner. Jake, who you want to talk to?
I'm having Josh Thompson. I'm making sure that I have Josh Thompson because he's done a fantastic job today to go from last on the grid to 3rd position. And I'm pretty sure, Josh, you were supposed to start a little higher than that.
Yeah, I was supposed to start, I think, 7th, but last week got a penalty over a little incident, so I got given last place because of that, which in a way is not too bad because it's the sprint race, anything can happen.
Well, anything certainly can happen, and anything certainly did for you, because you made 33 positions over the course of that race. And, well, it seemed that every time we looked at you, you gained 2 positions, gained 3 positions, and did the stars align for you? Did you have any luck with your Radicals Online teammates? Did someone give you a little bit of help, like Scott Speed, for example, that's in your team? What happened for you? Did it just all work in the way that you expected it to?
Literally, I was in race 1 using my set, which I thought was all right, but it wasn't amazing. And I then just changed to Adam's set, which I tested and I wasn't as fast on. But in this weather, it seemed to work. Just bolted that on and off I went. It was absolutely spot on. So without that setup, I wouldn't have been there. So, yeah.
Well, it certainly works for you. Next week is, of course, a different challenge as you head to Motorsport. And, of course, you are arguably one of the busiest men in sim racing, racing almost every night in some form of league somewhere across the sim racing services. So, for you, how are you going to keep yourself busy over this weekend?
Well, tomorrow, obviously, Pro Series tomorrow. So, I've actually got at Spa, been quite good in testing. Then probably jumping in for the Blancpain races over the weekend as well, help the team out, because I think we're quite close on getting top 25 in that.
Well, it's always a busy time for Radicals Online, but for you, Josh, any shout-outs or sponsors?
Yeah, I just want to say a big shout out to everyone at Radicals, all the sponsors, Six Sideways, Cranfield, etc. Adam and Carl, who did a great job as well on the team tonight.
Well, no worries at all. Josh Thompson, a fantastic drive up to 3rd position overall. And it seems that we've got a very busy interview section.
I've ran down Enric Andre, the French driver. Now, he's been in all 3 events so far. That's 6 races. He has 4 DNF so far, with his best finish being a 7th. Not today, though. Enric, good job.
Yeah, well, not the result I was expected. I was struggling with my pace during the whole week. Surprisingly, I did a pretty good job on the sprint race. But, well, I bent it. I did a little mistake in the entry of a stadium, and Cole passed me. I tried to push a little bit harder and to try to catch him, but he was too fast.
Were you watching him? Did you know he was coming on you, and you were just trying? Was it a mistake of going fast or being defensive?
I knew that my pace was slower than him, so I was just trying to defend, but I knew he was close, and I just tried to take a bit more risk, and it didn't pay off.
It's been a rough season for you so far. You turned around here today with some good points. Is it you just like Silverstone? Is this a good track for you usually?
Not really at all. I don't really like this track at all. I was quite surprised with my pace, to be honest. Like I said, it's maybe the track, but I don't. So my worst track on the season, and it's still my best result so far. So yeah, I'm pleased with that.
Well, it's great to see you racing up front again. You're a fan favorite. I always like to call you. You're a good racer. Congratulations. You led for a little bit. Good luck the rest of the way.
Thank you, and thanks for commentating.
Enric Andre, the French driver, formerly a flying Frenchman, was teamed up with Jean-Francois Godin. He's gone his own separate way this season. Who are we going next with? One more interview, Jake?
One more before we have to head home. I'm going to bring in Jonas Vastamaki here to talk, because Jonas, it seems that Tier 2 is your playground, and if anyone wants to come on your playground, they've got to come through you first.
Yeah, well, had nice results in Tier 2, not so well in the overall race. First off, I want to say to Yannick Ongen, I'm not sure if we had contact in the lap 1 in feature. It was 0x for me, or it wasn't even a 0x contact, but it looked like it might have had some net code. So sorry for that. And sorry for Siv Sade for running in the back of him. I didn't expect him to slow where he did. Other than that, the feature was just cruise control for me. Didn't really fight anyone because I knew I was higher than my pace should have made me. So I just let the faster guys by, try to get some slipstream to get the nice results. And then in the sprint race, obviously had the lap 1 carnage where I was parked in the middle of the track at Beckett's, and I was extremely lucky to not get hit by anyone. And it seems I'm wanting to make sprint races way too hard for me, because I spun in Donington in first lap as well, and I know I did it again. But a nice recovery drive and great fighting against Takac at the end for last 3 or 4 laps.
Do you feel like there's a nervous issue when you get into these sprint races, because you know that you have to make positions, you know that you've got less time to make those positions, and you know that you've got to go through drivers who maybe will fight a lot harder because they have a lot less to lose. Do you feel that maybe there's more expectation on drivers when it comes to this second sprint race?
I don't think so. It might be that I'm a little bit over-aggressive on the first lap, so I might I have to look at that and think if I have to tone down it a little bit. But this time, yeah, I was going side by side in Maggots and Beckett's and run wide, lost the car completely. In Donington, it was 3 wide and little more joining, making it 4 wide. So that obviously didn't work out. But I'll definitely focus on sprint races and the starts of the races to make it clean through lap 1, because that's extra important when it's a short race.
It certainly is. And of course, for the final race, or for the next race of the season, shall I say, we're heading to Mosport, and a circuit that has very similar characteristics to Silverstone in terms of an average top speed. Do you feel that the setup's not going to change too much between the races?
Haven't looked at setup at all. Not really a fan of Mosport. That turn 2 always keeps getting me and killing me into the barriers, so I hope I can just finish the races and score some points.
Clayton's Corner always takes a few people here and there. Jonas Vastamaki there, having a very good run in Tier 2 their suit, but I believe the shop, unfortunately, has just hit closing time.
Yeah, with apologies to Evan Emre and Sarah Dove, who are in the waiting room. We're not going to have time to get to you. Please take a complimentary sweet roll. Remember, to all the drivers, come on in and sit in that interview waiting room. If we can't get to you, we'd like to see you there. We'll try to get to you next time. We'd like to thank everybody at Apex Online Racing for organizing the Formula Renault 2.0 League, and to all the members who support this broadcast. We know you have a lot of choices when you choose a broadcasting company. Thanks for choosing GSRC. Thanks to the company's equipment and software you see on the screen right now that we use on the broadcast. The original music that gives every GSRC broadcast that unique flavor and feel, well, it's thanks to Eric Eckham and Casey Lalonde. Jake, see the screen to how to contact each of them.
Yeah, you certainly have to. And of course, for next week, 1 week's time, Friday the 12th of January, AOR is heading to Canada because Mosport, Canadian Tire Motorsports Park, will be playing host to the 5th round of the championship, and GSRC will be there to bring you all the action, and we hope you join us. For more information about GSRC, your best bet is www.globalsimracingchannel.com. We're also on Twitter at GSR Channel and Facebook at Global Sim Racing Channel.
Finally, on behalf of the man whose voice you just heard, Jake Sperry, who I'll be teamed up again with tomorrow for the MWT, the MX5 World Tour. We'll be switching positions. He'll be taking lead. I'll be doing co. Try not to get the chair sticky over there, my young friend. Joe Peak, our commentator, Dougie Beard, our camera artist. Like to thank all of you for watching. With that said, we're off to have fun. Storm of the Castle. So until next time, race clean, race hard. Happy New Year, and we'll see you next on the track.